Hey friends, new friends, old friends, friends. It is July 5th. Time for a tour. It's not much, but it's growing. If you go back to the first one, you can see huge differences. So um, here we go. All right. So if you followed 2 or 3 years ago, this is the old garden. And we only cleared out 2 beds this year. I might clear out more, but we don't have enough compost, so I don't know. We'll see. The reason I say we might clear out more, I have a ton of tomato plants that I did not sell. So I don't want to waste them, so I may stick them in each box and see how many I can grow. We'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. But anyways, this is summer squash. This empty space, there was artichokes there. I don't know if they're going to come back this year. I haven't seen them, so I'm not very optimistic. But yeah, summer squash. That's what all this is. So they have been in the ground, a few days. And they are growing. They have grown exponentially compared to when they were in their little trays. And don't mind my temporary seat, which is a bucket. So in the greenhouse, we still have potatoes. Our potatoes are doing pretty good. I need to add some dirt. We have some strawberries and a couple volunteer tomatoes that came up from the soil. There were apparently seeds in the soil, the brand new soil that we just bought. So that's what that is. But we've been getting a few strawberries here and there. And over here, if you saw our earlier video, my greenhouse got too hot. So a lot of my plants fried, but some of them stayed green. Decided to see what happened. And look, we have new growth. That is a great Craig's Grande jalapeno. I might pot that and keep it in the greenhouse so it'll last longer. And this was a mystery from the local store. It is an herb of some sort. I think if I remember correctly, that one's the marjoram. And then here we have this little tower. I picked this up at the Dollar Tree. I have mostly herbs in there, except at the top tier. I have strawberries in that one, and the third one over here. And then I put this one on top just so I could keep it all consistently watered, and the roots took. So there's roots. That's why that's still there. That's another mystery one. But I have mint and some other herbs in here. So yeah, we should actually have a few herbs this year. That'll be fun. Here are the plants that did not sell, or I didn't plant. I gave up on selling eggplant. They're all in the garden. I figure they can be fine with square foot gardening. They don't require a lot of trellising or staking. They do require staking, but not much. So there's one tray, 2 trays. Let me back up. And you can see these are over a foot tall after I planted them all the way at the bottom of the cup. Another tray. There are a few eggplants in here. These are long purple eggplant. This is Syrian stuffing eggplant. Hungarian wax pepper. I may plant that if I find a spot for it. Or maybe I'll put it in the greenhouse too. We have this tray. A ton of aswad. Ooh, where'd it go? Oh, that's a cayenne pepper. These are the aswads. Yeah, aswad. We have some San Marzano. Some... Uh-oh. Oh, I hope that's empty. Little man's got a cup. Yeah, it's empty. Yeah, some egg tomatoes. Those are pretty tall. And then that tray there. Those are the end of the cups. So, if you're local and you need some tomatoes, they're doing pretty good. Nobody bought them. In these beds, so this is right next to our little play area for the baby, the dogs. One year I had garlic in that bed. And there's actually a couple of volunteers. We'll see if they make it because I accidentally pulled them up yesterday. I put tomatillos in here this year. If you've ever grown tomatillos, they spread out. So that's why they are fairly well spaced. These two and this one I kept for me. Those two I kept for a friend. Those just got taken out of their, they all got taken out of their cup yesterday. So since my friend never came and got them and I didn't tire to water in all the cups, there they are. So I'll just grow 5 plants and see what happens. Oh, also tomato or tomatillo tip. If you let tomatillos fall to the ground at the end of the season, they will resprout. So put them in a place where you're okay with them continuing on if you like tomatillos. So now we're out at the new garden. River, get out of there. Out. Keep going. And it's doing pretty darn good. First of all, I've never had successful onions. My neighbors gave me their starts, and they're doing really well. These beds, these ones out here got planted first because I put a little playpen out here and it gave me quick access to the baby. So yeah. Oh, you want your cups? So we have a row of onions here. These are hot peppers. There's a small one there and a small one there. Those ones are hopefuls, but obviously they aren't doing as well. I think I picked that one up at the local store. Some of these are ones that did not fry in the greenhouse. Here we have asparagus. I'm just letting it reseed. The dogs dug it up last year, so I'm just trying to get it full before I keep planting. So I'm letting everything go to seed this year. Eggplant. Okay, look at the size of these eggplant leaves. Okay, these eggplants were planted the exact same day as those eggplants and those eggplants. Now, the difference is these came out in the beds first, those came out in the beds second, and these came out in the beds a few days ago. Ah. Same with these tomatoes. Look how happy and bushy these tomatoes are. There are 13 tomato plants in here. I need to come out here and get rid of some of the water leaves. But we've actually had rain, which we rarely have. We average less than 7 inches a year. And they are happy that they got rain. That's for sure. This is another hot pepper bed. I put this in the other day because I had a bunch of peppers, and hot peppers should not be planted with other things because they can change the flavor of the food or the fruit. If you're wondering why I have red cups in here, it's because I need to make tags or take pictures, and I haven't done either yet. But that way I know that that's a habanero chocolate and that's a Hungarian wax and so on. So, and that's a flower. That's a blue bonnet bell or something. I don't remember what it's called exactly. It's right there in the shade. And then this is the other side of my 8-foot box. There is some eggplant in here. These all got planted together, but as you can see, 2 of them are doing better, which makes me think that these 2 down here are not getting enough water. So I'm going to come out here and hand water those, see if I can get it nice and saturated and help their roots get a little extra water. But let's... And there's a few sweet peppers. There's 4 sweet peppers in here, including shishitos, which are there. I got those at the local nursery, and we actually have a pepper. That is the first piece of fruit that we get, that I grew, kind of, sort of. This tomato plant has a couple of tomatoes on it, but that came from the nursery as well. But yeah. And here we are with the okra. Okra went in, 2 weeks ago. It started shooting up. It started getting a lot of new growth in the last couple days, so I'm excited. There's 13 okra plants. I'm excited because we like okra fresh off the stem. I'll come back to this. So because I wasn't selling any of my eggplant, I went ahead and planted them. So here they are. Again, the cups are just so I can make labels. These 4 eggplant, or Casper eggplant, they never made it into a cup. They went from the little black trays directly in here. That's why they're a little stunted right now, but they've more than doubled in size. Here's more eggplant that I had planned initially for us. And I did not put anything in those last 2 squares. This is square foot gardening because it doesn't get enough water down here and I don't know why. But clearly my ground cherries, those 3, which are a form of tomatillo, I believe, they're doing good. They're getting enough water where they are. I'm not having to fight with it. So I'm excited about that because it's my first year with ground cherries. And in here, I have volunteer beans. If you saw my Instagram, I posted about weeds. Technically, those are weeds. I did not plant them there, but they want to grow. I'm going to let them. These are bush beans because that's what was in this bed last year. So we have more tomatoes in here. Normally, I can get 40 tomato plants in here. I have 26 in here. I lost 13 by spacing them out 18 inches apart instead of per square foot. And I did that because I want to see if I can get a higher yield with less plants, with each plant having more space and less pruning. So it's kind of an experimental year for tomatoes. But I have pepper there, sweet pepper's there. This little wet spot through here is bush beans from seed. A couple volunteers. That's what those are. And I'm just letting them go. I planted bush beans, I believe, up to here. I figured out what kind that was based on the seed that was stuck to it, and went ahead and planted more of this particular one. And that seed is not letting go. There. That should open up. And check this out. So these tomatoes all got planted the same day, and they are all very tall. They're almost up to the mesh. And these 3 right here, that one, and that one, got planted about a week ago. And if you look at the height difference, there's something to getting them in the ground as soon as you can, because their roots want to go. And if you haven't seen past videos, here's where we're in. We are in a 12 by 24 conduit and T-post hoop house that I built with a 40% shade cloth and a whole lot of remesh down the middle because it's cheaper than cattle panels in the long run, especially if you know you're going to expand your garden. There is a 2-foot bed, 2-foot walkway, 4-foot bed, 2-foot walkway, 2-foot bed. And then this bed is only 20 feet long, so we actually can get in here from the door and work. And then here we have all for vertical gardening. That's what this is. Oh. I get a lot of questions about the CDs. Before I had the plastic on, it was a deterrent for birds to not be able to figure out where they're going to land, so they couldn't steal what I was growing. So this bed is all vining winter squashes or melons. And by vining, I mean they can either go on the ground and take over, or you can make them go vertical. And that's why they are in here, because they're going vertical, obviously. I have not finished cleaning this out. For those that don't know, I'm 6 months pregnant. I have a almost 14-month-old hanging on my back there. I get 20 to 30 minutes at a time out here. It's been in the high 90s, and wearing a baby in the high 90s is not comfortable. So I'm just doing what I can, but I did get the lower stuff off so I could at least start it and then pull the rest of it down, or get my husband out here to pull the rest of it down. But he's been working his butt off at work, so I don't think he's going to be able to do it. But yeah, so the rest of this will all come down and get out of the way, and we're still working on things. But I got my beans in the ground, so underneath each one of the verticals is a bean plant, a bean seed. And I've watered those daily to make sure they stay moist, because I did not pre-soak them. If you're having problems with your beans, you can pre-soak them. I did not. I just come out here and water every day with rainwater that we collected. But we have melons, we have cucumbers, A lot of cucumbers, because I'm hoping that this little man back here is going to be a cucumber junkie. And more beans. I had a critter come out here and mess up some of my plants, so I got to replant a few. But it happens. And then I also have a few volunteers over here too, because I'm still finding beans up in here, even though I came out here and harvested and a couple different times. Like even here, look, there's a dry bean right there. So if that opens, which this one did, you can see it's open and twisted. I bet there's a bean right there. If I pushed that in the ground, I bet it would grow. So that's how that works. And I will tell you, I was impressed. I was trying to move the volunteer beans that are over here, and I dug down a full spade on this little shovel I have, and I pulled back, and I still snapped the middle of the stalk and not the, I didn't get the roots. So I just said, screw it, and we'll just have some volunteers throughout. That's how that's going to go to this year. So there's burpless cucumber. We got purple potted, whatchamacallits, beans. There's a melon. That's a volunteer. I don't know what that one is. It's probably from the compost. But beans. These beans were putting up more of a fight. That's there so I can remember what to call it later. And then that plant there. And this one down here are buttercup squash, and they just got put in a couple days ago. So you can see the difference in color from being in their little trays. See how light green those are, to being in this soil. And these have been in this soil, oh, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks now. So hopefully these turn green. And then I also came out here and used rainwater on those, because free nitrogen is free nitrogen. I'm not sure if that's a bean, but we're going to find out. Because they're bush beans, so they're going to give us nitrogen. They have nodes. And I'm really excited about that volunteer. That is nasturtium. That is a flower. I have no flowers this year. I started some and they didn't make it. So maybe next year. But yeah, this is the current status of the garden. And as you can see, it is, I'd say 75% planted in here. That bed's completely full. This bed is almost all the way full. I still have room for pole beans or trellising beans where that bag is to the end. I'll probably pick some of my favorite ones because I did 3 to 4 plants of each of the other ones, and I got to bring them back out here and get them going. This bed is planted all the way down the middle, and that one, I think there's 2 squares there, those, and then I planted all the way to where that bean's sticking up there, and I haven't planted anything on this front row here. So I have 20 spaces there, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 10 more squares in this bed, and I usually can get 4 times 2, 80 plants in here. So I have 10 more holes in here, and it'll probably, well, no, it'll be 10 plus 20. Yeah, so it'll be, I got another 30 squares or so. And with that, it'll probably be bush beans. Yeah, I don't know what else I want to grow. I think that's pretty much all I have left. I didn't get sunflowers in this year. I didn't get corn in this year. There's a lot of things I didn't get in this year. So we are just kind of rolling with it. And I have killed squash bugs already. I'm actually upset about that because this bed is a repeat of squash. And I've already killed 4 adult squash bugs. So I've already got to keep an eye out. Last year, my squash went in the other 2-foot bed, and it just completely took over in here. I could not walk through here. Squash plants are spiky. In 100-degree weather, I'm not trying to be out here in pants. So we decided to go ahead and go back to the old garden with the squash because I was planning on making a new bed right there. The houses that got built behind the house, I talked to the person. They said I could have some of the scrap wood or the junk wood. That's what all that is. And I was supposed to have a bed right there, 24 feet long, 4 feet wide, with a nice big walkway. And we can't afford the soil. The soil is too darn expensive this year. I was fortunate enough to have soil given to me for those 3 beds and that bed. This is actually what's left of that soil. And I actually was able to top all of these beds off with that soil this year and top that bed off. And I did that because it all settled in and got super short. Like if you look at those tomatoes, how short the dirt is, it's settled. So that's what's going on in the garden. As you can see, it's getting there. There's the greenhouse, the hen house, chicken coop. That's what's going on. I have not finished mulching. Again, short spurts. I'll finish mulching soon. If you don't know why you should mulch, we are in the high desert. We get an average of less than 7 inches of rain a year. Mulching keeps the soil cooler, keeps the plants cooler, and retains water. It keeps the water underneath and it doesn't evaporate as fast. And also, if you live in a place with high rain, when it splashes down, it doesn't bounce back up and hit the leaves and increase the chance of blight and disease. So yeah, that's why you want to mulch. And then later on, at the end of the year, if you have a till garden, you can till it in and then it will break down and add nutrients to your soil. So there's a purpose to buying a bale of straw. Now this year, I accidentally bought regular straw. It does not break down nearly as fast as rice straw. I said the wrong thing at the feed store. So rice straw would be better. So anyways, there you have it. That's what's going on. It's July 5th. I've been slowly getting the garden in. I'm doing what I can when I can. And it's definitely helping my zen. My husband usually has 3 days home and 2 days gone. And he has had like 30 to 32 hours off between trips because of the fires in California. So with that, it's just him and me and the baby quite a bit. And not getting a lot of me time. So, which is fine. We'll work through it. It's just gardening. It's helping my zen right now. Especially with 3 dogs and all the fireworks yesterday. And luckily we got enough sleep last night. All right. Well, thank you for spending your time with me. Thank you for hitting like and subscribe. And see you on the next one.